Big people that don't want to take charges and say you're a 12-year-old that you will come home. They still was dragging my baby to the streets because he was a minor.
These older kids out here that he was dealing with got my grandson killed.
On April 15, 2023, around 8:57 p.m., Baltimore police responded to the 2400 block of Hollins Ferry Road. Upon arrival, they found a 12-year-old boy with multiple discharges to his chest. The preteen was transported to Maryland Shock Trauma Center, where unfortunately, Jaylen Richards was pronounced gone around 10:30 p.m. A preliminary investigation revealed that he was injured on Maisel Court prior to running a block to Hollins Ferry Road in the Westport Homes public housing community where he resided with his mother. Following the heartbreaking incident, Police Commissioner Michael Harrison said casings recovered from the ground appeared to be an assault style. While investigators have released very few details regarding exactly what happened, they shared that Jaylen had been struck by several discharges while running away.
Of one juvenile male location, not causes of breathing, person shot out front.
But he didn't deserve to die that way. Nobody does. And it's a devastating loss to me.
It did sound like maybe a word or something like that.
Weapons that are used in war and should only be used in war are being used on American streets, the streets of Baltimore.
When we talk about these weapons, we're talking about weapons in many cases that in the military, you need months of training to operate.
If they brazenly a 12-year-old tonight, they will shoot anybody at any time.
Just a mile from where the horrific incident occurred, Jaylen, a 6th grader, attended Westport Academy. Following their heartbreaking loss, family, friends, and strangers paid their respects to Richards, affectionately known as J-Rock, on social media and held a vigil. A neighbor even said that following the incident, he hadn't seen many children outside.
I lost my nephew to these streets. Westmore, Ivan Bates. We got to pull together a little bit faster. A little bit faster.
They don't care nowadays. Little kids. So something had to be done.
Just because he live in the projects don't mean he a product of his environment. You get what I'm saying? Like, every kid had their day, but it's no excuse for a 12-year-old to get executed the way he did.
We losing the generation. They ain't supposed to lead before us. You hear me now? They supposed to take over and watch after us, y'all.
It's a tragic incident. It's definitely time for something to be done in Baltimore as far as crime goes. And it's a really sad thing for a family to have to bury a 12-year-old.
In a press conference immediately after, a BPD spokesperson indicated that he was uncertain whether Jaylen had been the intended target. However, at a press conference 2 days later, he confirmed that the 12-year-old was indeed the intended target. Jaylen's family shared that he had been on house arrest when his life tragically ended and had been ordered to wear an ankle monitor for a previous theft charge. Due to his age, Richard's juvenile record is shielded from the public. As they sat in their Baltimore City row home, tears fell from the eyes of Felicia and Melisha Pulley as they spoke about Jaylen. Richards was Melisha's son and Felicia's nephew. His family members believed that a dispute among local criminals may have led to one of them ending Jaylen's life. The twin sisters spoke of how loved Jaylen was, by his family even going on to say that they tried to get him to cut ties with adults in his life who allegedly were encouraging and facilitating his involvement in a life of crime.
The sounds of grief.
My son's life ran out, like I said, to the streets of Baltimore City. Because I was a baby. That took them big bullets. Big people that don't want to take charges and say you're a 12-year-old that you will come home. They still was dragging my baby to the streets because he was a minor.
Jaylen's grandmother, Anitra Jones, shared similar sentiments and stated that persons older than him already had a, quote, catch on him.
My grandson was killed like a dog in the street. Jaylen has gotten caught up with the wrong people out there older than him, doing things that they made him do, and once you in, you can't get out situation. He was doing things that a child his age shouldn't.
Like what?
Carjacking. They had him carjacking. These older children, Jaylen don't know how to drive. He was just hanging along for the ride. Yes, it got my grandson killed. These older kids out here that he was dealing with got my grandson killed. They took advantage of him. They still here. They still here. They can hug their grandma. They can hug their mother. I would never ever be able to touch him again and tell him how much I love him. And it's heartbreaking. Where are these kids getting these from? The mayor, the commissioner, Ivan Bates, none of them have reached out to my family yet about this. But they on TV saying this about a child, that about this child. What are they going to do about these children keep picking up in their hands? I want these older people to be accountable for what they're doing to these young children out here today and taking advantage of them. And guess how many more out here are going to be like Jaylen? Because of older, ignorancy, adults that's using kids for their stupidity.
Not only Jaylen's family have been affected by children being targeted by adults to commit crimes for them. Patty Hawkins, a mother of a high school boy, went as far as moving her son out of Baltimore City because, according to her, he was also facing pressure to join a gang.
Look at why this is happening.
Sitting in a park some 70 miles outside of Baltimore City, Patty Hawkins talks about fights her son Khalil was getting into while going to and from school in Baltimore.
These kids are beefing over the game, and then you have other adults intervening in the situation, and they're instigating it.
She says Khalil was jumped and robbed, and that's when she first learned about Jaylen Richards.
I went to Jaylen's mom, and I said, your son threatened my son with a gun. My son is getting ready to turn 17. My son would really hurt your son.
What made you go to his mom about what?
Because, you know, these kids knocked my son out.
But things did not get better. They only escalated. One day, Hawkins says she got a call from her daughter who said Khalil had a gun at school.
I walked in there by myself and grabbed my son out of their school with it in his backpack.
Your son had a gun?
Yes, he went up to Douglas to shoot like those kids. He was not playing. They knocked him out and robbed him. All because he doesn't want to be in a gang.
Her son refusing to tell her where they came from. She turned it over to Baltimore police and moved her son to Hagerstown. But before uprooting the family, Hawkins says she tried to meet with several parents of kids who were having problems.
Out of these 16, 7 of them are gone now. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing now. It's a crisis. I don't know how else to look at it.
But not much was done. Hawkins describing a lack of interest from some parents in their kids' lives.
This is getting crazy, and I'm recognizing that the parents care more about going out to clubs, partying. I've been pounding the streets with this situation with other parents.
Especially after laws changed last year, shielding young kids from certain crimes.
I feel like they're prey to these predators, these drug dealers that are hanging out around the schools, because it's easier to have children sex for you than you to get a charge yourself to sell. So I'm still afraid. I'm afraid to come through the city.
2 days following what was deemed a violent weekend, We, Our Us, a unity engagement men's movement, held its weekly peace walk in Southwest Baltimore to bring awareness to Jaylen's case and honor his life.
Going door to door in the Westport community, checking on neighbors after a tragic over the weekend.
Shooting every day. Not only here, babies, everybody. Ain't no particular person.
Neighbors still in shock are praying for Jaylen's mother. He was a 6th grader at Westport Academy.
Well, I know she got to be hurting because I'm a mother. She's hurt.
Community organization We Are Us walked through the neighborhood on Monday. The group's goal is to connect people in the city, especially boys and young men, with resources to keep them off the street. Organizers say they have a new focus.
We've been out here for 5 years, right? We know now that we clearly have to turn our movement more toward the young people.
They want more community members to help them support young people in the city.
So we ask everybody to get involved. It doesn't matter what your position in life for you to get involved in dealing with young people.
Westport ministers and residents joined with family and friends to hold a vigil for the 12-year-old while they focused their attention on preventing another young life from being snatched away and encouraged them to love one another and stick together in the face of violence. As of this video, no arrests have been made in Jaylen's case. If you have any information and wish to remain anonymous, you can contact Metro Crime Stoppers at 1-866-LOCK-UP. That's 1-866-756-2587 and may even be eligible for a reward. Police can be contacted directly at 410-396-2100. May the family and friends of Jaylen Richards find solace in the happy memories, and may his soul rest in perpetual peace. Thank you.